Okay, guys, welcome to the weekly update for the Fife Property market. We are looking at the 30th of May to the 5th of June. So the week it's just passed from Sunday to Saturday. Okay, so let's look at some numbers right across the board. We're also going to be talking about things like properties going under offer, properties going to closing dates, and also where the market's going. But we'll briefly look at the numbers right across Fife for last week. Give us a strong indication of what's going on. Cooper Market, 13 properties listed right across Fife with all the estate agents and 13 properties sold. East Nuke, 7 properties listed, 6 properties sold. So there's no huge demand in that area. But there is still, and I'll tell you why, St Andrews, 3 listed and 6 sold. Leavenmouth, 9 listed and 11 sold. Dunfermline, 48 listed, 58 sold. Glenrothes, 20 listed, 11 only sold. That's actually quite surprising, as there have been an influx of property coming onto the Glenrothes market, possibly because it is one of the higher pressured status areas, which means that there's huge demand just now. So maybe everybody's starting to begin to sell. And Kirkcaldy, 45 versus 37. So in the week itself, every single estate agent across Fife listed 145 properties between them for sale, and 142 went under offer. That's actually quite surprising for this time of year. You tend to find it should be a lot more than that. Technically, when you think about it then, if I look at and I do a quick number crunch and I'll annualize this up times 52, yeah, that's about 7,500 in total right across the market. So there should be a wee bit more there, but we are actually restricted in supply just now because there's only 520 properties across Fife, the Fife market itself, for sale, which means itself that it's going to take some amount of properties to come to market to get back to the level of 101,200 properties that we had almost over 12 months ago. It's going to take a lot to come back onto the market and less to sell before we get back to that. So even though I don't think anytime soon this market's going to quieten down, it's going to still continue to boom. And I'll show you why right now. Okay, so this is some of the properties that we've got have actually gone sold within a record time. Okay, so this week, 58 Kirk Park in Methil, this was a 2-bedroom semi-detached property, and this actually sold, offers over 120,000. It was sold to a young couple, actually. It's starting out, and one works locally at one of the schools. Sold for a record price. You have also 6 Bonner Court in Cooper. That was sold to a young family ready to move into their new home. 2-bedroom semi-detached that offers over 135,000. We also had 3 Drummond Court in Cooper. That was sold. That was a 3-bedroom semi-detached property, offers over 150,000. And that was sold to a young couple again who were looking for their next family home. 2 other buyers missed out in that scenario. The reason I'm telling you buyers missed out, if you've got similar types of properties in these areas, then I've given you an indication about where the offers over price is. But this again was sold for a record price. I cannot say how much more until it actually settles. But I'll tell you what, it was a record price. So if you've got a similar type of property, they're actually in St Andrews, these types of properties as well, and they're also in Kennaway as well, because I've seen them there as well. It was a typical style built with the ex-local authority houses. And the next one is 25 Cash Hughes in Strathmiglo. That was sold at a closing date, and that was 3 other buyers missed out, and that was a 2-bedroom semi-detached. Offers over 150,000. So if you've got any types of these properties in any of these areas, please feel free to give us a call, and we'll give you a rough idea of what it's worth based on what we know now, based on what we've just sold them for, which only we know, and we really can't say anything till it sells. Okay, so let's look at other properties coming this week. So Crail, 5 St Andrews Road in Crail. This is going to go to a closing date on Tuesday. This is offers over 240,000. This is a 3-bedroom end terraced villa. Absolutely beautiful inside, finished to a high standard, and it's a period property as well. You can see that from the brickwork from the outside. And the next one is on Wednesday. We've got another closing date. We've got 28 West End in Kinlassie, and that's offers over 120,000. That's a 3-bedroom semi-detached property. So lots and lots of demand out there. Really, that's what it comes down to. Do you like my Chariots of Fire t-shirt? This is when we ran the anniversary one. Where is it here? And we've got the choice of British flag and then the wee emblem on the side as well. There. as well. But it shows that I've actually been out in the sun today at the Lochore, Fife Property's Lochore Sprint Triathlon. So I was competing in that today. We had over 200 competitors there today from all over Scotland, and we were also hosting the Scottish Triathlon Scotland's Scottish Championships as well, and that went extremely well with the weather today. Couldn't have wanted for a better day today. Okay, let's talk about a couple of articles that we've got on this blog as well. Good evening, Julie. How are you? A couple of articles we've got on this blog as well. We have got hidden potential. So this is the one I talked about. We did a show on this yesterday, and we also did a podcast on it as well. And this is the hidden potential in a property, and it is using the untapped value of your home to sell for selling points in Fife. And what we're going to talk about is, you know, all the things, and including all the wee secrets that we know how to add value to your property without actually costing you a lot of money. You can add significant value and have significant uplifts in property values just with, for example, getting planning permission. It's amazing the fundamental difference it'll make to the value of a property just with getting outline planning permission. And it doesn't take much to do that. And Andrea Stanford talks about that in the show we ran yesterday. So it talks about adding rooms, side extensions, loft extensions, rear extensions. If you've got cellars as well, actually using and converting them. We do have that on houses which are entered from the front of the property on the ground level, and they'll have they're on a hill, so the bottom level at the rear is typically usually a cellar of some sort, and it actually could be converted to further living accommodation. And we also talk about open spaces and how could they be utilised more better, and also luxury upgrades that you could have, and inviting light in as well, which can make a fundamental difference in the mind shift and the mindset of a buyer when they come round to view your property, and how you can improve on the lighting in order to allow you to do that. So that was yesterday's show. One of the articles during the week which went down a storm with all the community pages, because I posted that on individually over the week. And we didn't do a show on it, but it was a great article. It was talking about your great Fife grandfather would have to only pay £221, 18 shillings and 2D for his Fife home in 1871, 150 years ago. So with that article goes into what it was for the cost of an average house in Fife at that time, 150 years ago, compared to what it costs today. And it actually steps through all the processes and all the years property values went up, and why they went up, and how they went up over these years as well, to give you right to today's value. And it actually proves it's proportionately cheaper today than it was in 1871 to buy a house based on the standard of living we have today. But it's a lot of good information which gives you a good insight to how the market has evolved over the years, and how possibly some of these things that have happened in there will evolve over the coming years to come. So we go into detail about things like the 1930s. So here it is here. We go into the 1930s, what happened there, the 1940s, the 1950s, the 1960s, the 1970s, the 1980s, the 1990s, the 2000s, 2010s. And yes, your great-grandfather might have been able to buy their Fife house for a shade under £220 in 1971 and £22 in 1871. Take inflation into account since 1871, the same Fife house today would be, and I'm not going to tell you what that figure is. Read the article. This will actually blow you away, because I was actually quite surprised when I looked at the statistics and worked it all out. But it actually gives us a good insight as to how the property market has evolved and where we see it going in the future. And finally, guys, again, I have my ready reckoner. I always put this on every single week. Evening, Jim. You'd be amazed how many people out there do not realise the true value of their house. Now, you may not be selling. You may be using it possibly to get a better mortgage. And a classic example of that is your loan to value just now on your mortgage might be 75 or 80%. And that might have been taken out 5 years ago. And your mortgage might be up for renewal, or you might think, I tell you what, I can look at the revaluation again. And if you go into that ready reckoner and it's increased in value so much, it might be the case that you could remortgage your house on a lower loan to value and actually get a better interest rate than you've got just now as a result of that. So that's a classic example of how you could use that ready reckoner valuation tool, instant valuation tool online in order to work out if it's actually you would get a cheaper rate on your mortgage with a better loan to value. If you're wanting a wee bit detail about that, or you want to chat about that, or you're not sure what I'm talking about, but you kind of think, wait a minute, he's talking about getting a cheaper mortgage rate, please feel free to message me direct on these posts. I'm more than happy to pick that up and just explain it a wee bit more to you, or even have a quick Zoom with you as well, just to explain what that means to you and actually show you the whole process about how that happens and how that would be. And it gives you a rough idea. Hey, if you can save £20 or £30 a month on your mortgage payments, that's £300 a year or £360 a year. So that's quite a lot of money. I would rather have over £300 in my own pocket than the bank's pocket. And that's the way I would look at it. Okay, so as well, you also have the opportunity to, again, this instant valuation tool will give you a rough idea about, if you're not, and I talked about in yesterday's show, if you're not living in your dream home today, why on earth are you sitting there then? Why are you not doing something about it? You don't know what you don't know. And we do know that possibly because we know how the market's running just now, and we know the valuations of the properties, and we know what's potentially possible as well, because it's our business. It's our job to know that. And as a result of speaking to us, it might be the case that you can go and find your dream home, and that's you set up, especially with today's interest rates as now. You can fix at 5-year fixed rate deals. It's something like 2.5% to 3%. Now that is an astronomical figure in terms of 5-year period. Some mortgages as well will fix for 10 years, but you can look that up yourself, or we can put you in touch with a mortgage broker to do that. So that's why we put that instant valuation tool on it. It's not necessarily to get you to sell your house. It's to get you to give you a good idea about where you are just now, so it makes you think about the possibilities of where you can save money, or where you can possibly upgrade to a better home. Or you might actually think now, well, wait a minute, actually I could get a lot of money for this, and I can go and retire and do exactly what I want to do somewhere else, and I could downsize to a smaller property. Therefore, the differential makes me more money for retirement. For some people, it could mean the difference between 1 or 2 years on early retirement. Okay, so that's left with you. And by all means, again, as I said, if you want to message me here direct, if you need further information, please feel free to contact me. And I'll see you next week on the Fife Property Update Show.